Girl, winter is so last season. And now spring's got you looking at pictures of tank tops with hungry eyes. Your algorithm is feeding you cutoffs. You're thirsty for the sun on your shoulders. That perfect hang on the patio sundress. Those sandals you can wear all day and all night. And you've had enough of shopping from your couch. Done hoping it looks anything like the picture when you tear open that envelope? It's time for a little in-person spring treat. It's time for a trip to Ross. Work your magic.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Rico.
And this is ATC Presents Daebak K-Rambles, where a couple of friends review Korean dramas. Rico, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
Yeah?
We have a new show we're talking about.
Yes, we do.
But outside of that, no, I've been great. I cannot complain.
Right.
And as these shows, as we watch more shows, the better they have been. Like it's on an upward trajectory for me.
I got you.
So
okay.
So I'm excited to talk about this one.
Me too.
Yes.
Me too. All right. If this is your first time listening, go ahead and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and so many more. And if you like us, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That goes such a long way for other listeners to join in on the fun.
And come check us out on social media so you can stay up to date on our latest episodes and reviews. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at ATC Daebak Pod. Lastly, if you're a fan, please consider becoming a patron. It's a great way for you to get involved and support the show. You'll find it under our umbrella podcast, which is patreon.com/alwayscriticpod.
Nice. So now that some housekeeping is out of the way, we can get going on our review of Signal, which is a 2016 show. Rico, I'll go ahead and read the synopsis actually because it's kind of long. And I felt bad you reading it last time. So, from AsianWiki.com, the synopsis reads, Hae-young works as a criminal profiler and is also a police lieutenant. Even though he is a cop, he doesn't trust cops due to his own past experience. Back in 2000, when Hae-young was in elementary school, his classmate Yoon-jung was kidnapped and later found dead. Hae-young saw a woman taking Yoon-jung from school that day, but the police announced that the suspect was a man. Hae-young even went to the police station and told the police officers that he saw the kidnapper, and she was a woman. The police officers, though, didn't pay attention to him. The killer was never caught, and her case remains unsolved to this day. While leaving the police station in present day, which is 2015 in the timeline of the show, Hae-young hears someone talking to him. He looks around to find a walkie-talkie. The man who is talking to Hae-young is Detective Je-Hoon. The detective, though, is from the year 2000, and he is investigating the disappearance of Hae-young's elementary school classmate. Hae-young and Detective Je-Hoon begin to communicate via the walkie-talkie. Yes, so that is pretty much the episode 1 of the show.
Yes.
And this originally aired from January to March 2016. It is 16 episodes long. Yeah, so this... You got through this, right, Rico?
Yes, I got through this one. Yes.
we make sure we get through the shows now because back
of the
in
first
episode
one.
1, yes, we covered Boys Over Flowers and Rico got 19 out of 25 episodes and didn't finish the show, but that's okay. Signal is directed by Kim Won-suk. He directed Sung Kyung-kwan Scandal from 2010 and My Mister from 2018, which is a show with IU. I don't know if you guys have seen that on Netflix. It's been in my queue for forever. Haven't gotten around to watching it. And he also directed Arthal Chronicles, which is a Netflix show, K-drama as well, from 2019. That one stars our boy Sung Joong-ki from Descendants of the Sun, Rico.
Yes, that is correct.
And Arthal Chronicles is awful. There's I wrote a review on it, and it's up on the blog if you guys want to read it. But anyway, this was also, I'm gonna go ahead and say who the writer is for Signal. So it's written by Kim Eun-hee, and she wrote both seasons of Kingdom, which is a really big zombie show also on Netflix, but it's K-drama. I think there's like 2 seasons of it. So really,
That's rare.
That's rare. Yeah. So the Signal show stars Lee Je-Hoon, he plays Park Hae-young. Kim Hye-Soo plays Cha Soo-hyun, and Cho Jin-Woong plays Lee Je-An.
Exactly.
Those are basically the 3.
Those are the 3 that you follow throughout the show. That is correct.
Yes. And this sucks because like I'm trying not to repeat actors, but I have seen Je-Hoon in Tomorrow with You, which is another K-drama that you can watch on Netflix if you want to. It's not a Netflix original, but it is up on there.
Yeah.
Highly recommend that show. It is a time travel show as well. Or he's a time traveler, I should say.
He's a time traveler.
Yes, which is ironic because Signal has to do with time as well. Rico, now that we have all that out of the way, we know the cast, we know the director, the lineage. What did you think of Signal?
So this is my 3rd K-drama I've ever watched.
Yes.
And it is the best out of the 3 that I've seen.
Oh.
So, yes, I love the concept.
Okay, all right.
I am a big fan of this concept of using technology to communicate with the past, to try to change the past.
Yeah.
Which I think is such a brave concept for a show to take on, because you can mess that up in so many different ways.
Yes.
And this show like is able to maintain a balancing act of you don't go too wild with the concept, because if not, then you start altering way too much, you know?
Right.
So here it's just about we're solving the cold cases we couldn't solve in the past. And so I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Another thing that really helped was that the 3 leads are very enjoyable to watch. They have pretty good. They're compelling. They have good chemistry with each other. So real quick, I do want to say, speaking about the cast, Cha Soo-hyun, these are the character names, Cha Soo-hyun and Lee Je-Hoon. Those 2 are together pretty much. They work together, but there's feelings between the 2 that I didn't quite buy. Their like love interest that they were trying to set up between the 2 characters.
Okay, that's fair.
I didn't quite buy it. But
yes,
with that said, I did like their chemistry of how they would work together on cases, or, you know, back in the past, they would show them, you know, trying to work together and stuff like that. So that was good. I really enjoyed Park Hae-young. I think I think he is a great lead. I think that he is a captivating hero. I think the fact that the way he's written, that he will stop at nothing to make sure that whatever case they're trying to solve is solved, I think is very well done by the writers. Great job by them. So throughout, I found myself really enjoying the pace. This show did leave me wanting more.
We'll get to that.
And we'll get to
Okay.
that. Because that I found interesting because of the way I've been told and I interpret what K-dramas are. They're self-contained 1-season shows, and the way this show ends does not make it feel like it's going to be a 1-season show. Right. So one of the things that I would say that maybe wasn't as much of a fan of would be there's too many cases to solve throughout its 16 episode run.
Yes. This had, I want to say like 7 or 8 cases that they are trying to solve, and a few of them are intertwined with each other, and so they kind of mesh into one, and it gets sort of dicey with the ins and outs of the case, because you're like, oh, this person was a rapist, but he's also doing this and he's covering up for this. Right. And it's like all these machinations are quite complex.
Yeah, they are.
Like for what it is. Like I thought, oh, it's going to be more episodic, and once one case ends, another one starts. But in the beginning, it kind of was like that, and then it went away from that. And it's like, okay, everything is connected, and it's kind of leading up to this mystery that throughout the show you're like, what happened to this one character?
Which kind of threw me off a bit because of the fact that if you watch any type of show that has like a mystery element to it or crime solving, if you're watching network TV in the United States, usually it's like one case a week and they solve it by the end of the episode.
Yeah.
But they don't have anything to do with each other until the very end of the season, where they usually set up like a 3-episode arc for something.
Right.
Yeah. But then there's other shows, like I think the best example I could give is like The Killing that was on AMC.
Oh, wow,
and that was a 1 season, 1 case trying to solve. And sure, there were like things that they had to pick apart throughout the season in a 10-episode arc, but it's 1 case. Here, it was multiple cases. It was kind of throwing me off. Like, is this going to be important? Is this going to, lead to the end game of this show? And
yes,
I kind of lost a bit of track between the middle cases there.
I would agree. There is, it doubles back on itself with the cases, and you're keeping up in both present day and in the past, and it just gets a little bit confusing. I'm not saying it's like, oh my god, it's totally unruly, I didn't get the thread. No, it's good in the moment, but like now we're a little bit removed from the show, and we're like, wait, like I have notes here, and I'm like, what case is this? Like, I'm trying my best to recall.
In what order did this moment fall in this case? Which case was it? Yeah.
Yes. And it's a little bit hazy and difficult to do that. So that's probably one of the only drawbacks. I do want to come back to Lee Je-Hoon, who plays Park Hae-young. He's very, very good in the show. I mean, a really great hero, like you said. I think that there's something about a really righteous character. And you think that Park Hae-young is like super righteous the whole time. And he is. But so is Lee Je-Hoon, who is in the past, who he's communicating with on the walkie-talkie. And he's like unassailable, extremely good-natured and good-willed. And so has such a great moral compass. Yeah. And that's like what draws you into these 3 characters, because there's this massive concept that they're playing with throughout the whole show, that the police force is essentially corrupt.
Exactly. Pretty much everyone.
Just like a Batman movie, which there is a huge Batman reference throughout the whole show as well.
So funny.
Yeah. And so I really enjoyed that. I have to say that here in the States, we, especially in recent years, there's been so much animosity between the general populace, civilians, and like the police force because of racial tensions and all that stuff. And in Korea, there is no racial tensions. What they have is classism.
Yes. Okay.
And so this show is working that into basically almost every crime. Is there's sense of someone has the resources and the money and the reputation to make this go away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have people on their payroll in the police department.
Exactly.
So they're working against this like system. It's systemic over there. And they're working within this, and it's like 3 people against the world.
Yeah, it's pretty tough for them.
It's tough, and it makes every case really interesting to see how they get around it. If they get the person, if they manage to get him in the past and then there's nothing to do with the future, but it changes something. And it's quite interesting to see how they battle this, classism, essentially.
Right. Now, one thing I will say about the mechanic of going back and forth between the past and the future, I didn't have too much of a problem with like making sure knowing that, oh, we're watching something from the past, we're watching something from the future, because the characters are different. But I guess maybe for a person who would have a hard time, I think a mechanism that could have been used is maybe the color grading could have been slightly different for the timelines.
Right.
That way.
They didn't do a lot of visual cues to make you think, oh, I'm looking at the past right now. Or, oh, I'm definitely in the present right now. Like Little Women from 2019 does that.
The warmer colors are in the past, and then the harsher colors are in the future.
Right. So they didn't do that. And I kind of appreciated that because the world, at least Lee Je-Hoon is always very optimistic. And he's like, it must be different in your time.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, this stuff doesn't happen in your time. And at no point does Park Hae-young go, sorry, like, it's pretty shitty here too. Like in 2015.
Right, exactly. He doesn't lead on.
Never does.
That it's bad or sometimes even worse.
He's just silent, changes the subject. And it's quite interesting because there's no reason to make the world any more appealing or look any different when it's essentially the
exactly.
same. Yes.
So now something that you did some homework on. Apparently, the criminal case that's depicted in the show was inspired by a true incident that occurred in Hwasong. The Gyeonggi province of South Korea. Did I say that?
Here, I'll take a crack at it. This case took place in Hwasong Gyeonggi province, South Korea. Over the course of 6 years, from 1986 to 1991, 10 women were raped and murdered within a 2-kilometer radius, ranging from a 71-year-old grandmother to a 13-year-old schoolgirl. So the Hwasong serial murder case that they talk about and deal with in the show is based on that.
Right.
And this is, I mean, we're not Korean. We don't know the significance of this. It could be as big as, like, Ted Bundy over here.
Jack the Ripper.
Like where everyone, Jack the Ripper, things that people like just know off the top of their head. They mention that all the time in the show. They're like, every cop knows this case.
Right.
Like it's public knowledge. It's, infamous. And it's so infamous over there that they've done multiple properties on this. It's like IP. Memories of Murder from 2003. Yeah, they did a movie on it. They did obviously Signal from 2016. They did another show called Tunnel in 2017 that debuted on OCN. Tunnel is actually another time. I read the synopsis of Tunnel. It's actually on Netflix if you want to see it. And that one has to do with the tunnel. So a detective goes through a tunnel, ends up in present day. And in the middle of this, it's in the middle of this case.
Gotcha.
So it's very similar concept to Signal and as far as past and present collide.
So something that I kept thinking about throughout this show was I can imagine an American version of this show and then of course them fucking it up. But for some reason I kept thinking, I wonder if some American company is looking at this and thinking, this is a clever idea, and then ripping it off. Because if American companies, and I mean that by entertainment companies, are known for anything, it is taking a good show from an international production and making a crappier version of it. So
absolutely. So to tell you my opinion on the show, I absolutely did like it. It was really good. I was engaged throughout. It didn't feel like there were any dipping points in the show where they were spinning their wheels or they had trouble with the plot and they couldn't quite figure out how they were going to dig themselves out of a hole or something like that. It never happened. It seemed like they knew where it was going to end the whole time, which is so positive. I would say that it reminded me a lot of Looper or The Call, which is another Korean thriller movie that actually ended up on a top 10 list that we did on Always the Critic podcast, our main podcast. That you can watch that on Netflix as well. Ilmar / The Lake House, that movie where past and present collide, but it's at a lake house. Yeah. I really enjoyed the concept of the future can reset the past.
Yes. I really enjoyed that.
I really like that concept. And Jumanji, one of my favorite movies, has that same concept as well. They finish the game, it resets the past. Or resets the future, however you want to look at it. So it's it was very enjoyable. And I don't want to say enjoyable I had so much fun, I was laughing. No. It was a very serious show. The tone was very serious. Stakes were extremely high throughout, which is good. Yes. You want that. But I would say that if you are more of a romance person and not so much of a police procedural
action,
heavy-handed drama action to a certain degree, true crime, then this is not
No,
the
it's
show
not.
for you.
This is clearly geared towards fans of mysteries and thrillers and, like you said, police procedurals. Yes, for sure.
For sure. So what did you give it before we go into spoilers? What's
Out
your
of
score?
5, correct? Out of 5, I
yeah.
gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay. I think I would give it
4 out of
5, which is quite high. If you've read the Daebak blog, then you know that it's very rare for me to give a 4 out of 5 score on a show, or even on a movie if you've listened to Always the Critic. This is a very, very, very good show. I would say probably the ending, which we'll talk about now, is the only reason why maybe I was like, and some of the details get lost as soon as you stop watching the show, which is also probably why it's 4 out of 5, not 5 out of 5. And that's about it. So you got anything else?
Before we jump in? No, let's go ahead and let's dig in.
All right, let's jump into, let's go talk spoilers.
Excuse me, 뭐라고?
괜찮아.
You know, I have no signal. Oh, sorry.
Swear, disgusting shit.
All right, so let's talk spoilers for Signal from 2016. What was basically your favorite part of the show? It's quite deep, got a lot of stories in it, a lot of subplots.
Yeah.
What was your favorite subplot, essentially?
So I know this is probably, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing on the show, but there wasn't a case that drew me in as much as the very first case.
With the child kidnapping.
Okay. Because of the fact that it was a ticking time. Like they were up against the clock. Because of the fact that the show clearly stated that there is a statute of limitations.
Right.
And when they finally figure out, wait a minute, we don't have the right person, and there's less than 2 days to figure it out, that to me was exciting.
It was like hours. They had mere hours.
It was like 36 hours. Like that's where it started. Like the clock started there. So to
like
me,
24?
that was exciting. I was like,
you know that show
wait
24?
A minute. Yeah, I remember 24. For sure. And that to me was exciting because I really liked the concept of we have to accomplish something and we have a clock to beat in order to do it. So that to me was exciting. I love them trying to figure out, do we have the right person? Oh wait, it's a woman, and all these different things colliding. And what really sold me was that she had committed 2 crimes. We were so focused on the first one, which was the kidnapping, obviously.
Yeah.
That there was a second crime that she killed someone, a witness.
Yeah.
She killed a witness.
She framed a dude and then...
Yeah, she framed the dude and she killed a witness. So they solved that case, but because of the statute of limitations, they missed out on the first one, which was the girl, the abduction.
Yes, they couldn't book her for the abduction because
they couldn't book her for the abduction.
Expired, but because of their digging, they were able to determine the time of death of the witness.
Right.
And the statute hadn't expired yet.
What I really enjoyed about a lot of the cases is they were not afraid to show them fail.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't one of these things where they magically solved every single case that was presented to them. There are moments where they think they got it, but then at the last second, oh no, we messed up something and it was too late. There was a victim still of this crime.
Right.
So that I appreciated about the show. So favorite parts, I really enjoyed that one. I really enjoyed the mechanic of the only times they could communicate was at that specific time.
11:23 p.m. on God knows what time, what day.
Exactly.
It would turn on. The walkie-talkie would allow them to communicate.
It wasn't this magical thing of like, oh, we can communicate whenever.
No.
Like we have these brief moments where we can feed each other the most important, significant information we can.
Yeah.
And then you got to do what you can with that information.
Yeah.
It's not enough even. Like most of the time, It's like, I gave him a date, you know, like
Right.
she's going to die
I gave him a
on
place.
August. Yeah, I gave him a place, or, you know, so that I appreciated too, because, you know, then you have this weird MacGuffin in the story of, oh, I could just call up the, you know, Lee Je-Hoon. Hey, what happens in the future with this case?
Right.
You know,
There's not
stuff like
really a lot of cheating, essentially.
right.
We
Within the
have
mechanic
information
and
that you
the
don't.
story.
We'll just tell you whenever we find out. It's like,
Right.
no, it's very,
No.
you know, hodgepodge of times that they can communicate, and for very short, like a couple of minutes or something.
It's only a couple minutes. Plus, on top of that, the first couple of times they speak to each other, it's them just trying to believe what they're doing. Like
Yeah.
they're talking to someone in the past, and or you know, in the case of the cop from the past, Lee Je-Hoon, he's talking to someone in the future.
Right.
So those couple of times are like wasted opportunities to solve cases.
And
you know?
Lee, like, they don't have it be one for one. Like, every time I contact him, he's in 1999. Like, no,
No.
it could be any year.
It could
Yeah.
be any year.
Yeah.
That was
he's in the
another
past.
interesting
Yeah.
one. He's in the past somewhere.
Yes.
You know, at some point in
So
time.
I quite like
And
that. I mean,
Yeah.
essentially, Lee Je-Hoon is going about his life carrying around this walkie-talkie that everyone thinks is for good luck. And he's just like, well, I'm here. Like, if he decides to contact me, if the connection, you know, picks up, I have it. But it could
Exactly.
be years between them talking. Yeah.
which is crazy for him because it's not the same for Park.
Yes.
For him, it's a matter of
Not
it's a
instant,
matter
but
of
it's
like
in the same
you know,
year.
weeks.
Yeah.
Like it could be like every couple of weeks he gets it, you know, or even a few days.
Yeah.
But for Lee, it's just arbitrary, just who knows when.
Yeah.
That I found fascinating.
I did quite enjoy the Gyeonggi serial murders, which is the one where the bus driver's teenage son
Yes.
was killing women on the bus
Women
that he was seeing.
on the bus.
I like that one because it had a lot to do with the father covering up for his son.
Yes.
And him, like, this twisted mind of the father that he's like, no, he's paid for his crimes after breaking his legs and becoming a paraplegic. Like, this is enough. And Lee Je-Hoon is like,
I'm sorry. No?
What? No, he killed like 10
No.
women. Yeah. Some obscene number of women. And
Yeah.
I like that you know in the future that he is bedridden. But you haven't seen yet that Lee Je-Hoon finds him, knows who it is, and he falls off a building because he backed him off the building.
Exactly.
Because of Lee Je-Hoon. So
Exactly.
it's like, oh my God, this was always meant to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because in that very same case, when he tells Lee, hey, this is going to happen right next to a train station.
Yeah.
There's going to be a girl. But then when he goes to the board that has the murders, there's still the same number of murders because he ends up killing someone else instead.
Yes, he never finishes that job, so there is now a survivor, but somebody else dies.
Somebody
in the
else
vicinity.
dies.
That one was particularly gut wrenching to me because Lee Je-Hoon's first love, the love of his life, is also
Yeah.
murdered during that.
Yeah.
So it's
Which sucks.
and I love
dude.
that line that he says where he's like, to you they're just photos. You just see the photos in the case and you don't know who they are, but I knew her. You know? She was somebody to me. And he's very emotional. It's just too much. It's very good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
I didn't particularly like the serial theft one where you think they thought it was the pro thief. It wasn't the pro
Right.
thief. It was the tribal's son. And he's doing it to try and find a rape tape that is being used as blackmail against him in one of his friends' houses, and all his friends are filthy rich. So he's hitting all of these rich houses trying to find this incriminating tape. Instead, just
Yeah.
stealing because he's like, oh, I got to do something here. They got to think I took something.
Yeah, that one was a case that I just kind of like just flew by.
I didn't
as-
like that one. It had the whole thing of the guy that was framed was friends with Lee Je-Hoon And then his daughter dies in a fiery bus crash with a bridge collapse. And like, the people who are responsible for the bridge collapse have this whole conspiracy going, and they're at fault for somehow the bridge falling is their responsibility, their fault, and they got away with it. It's like very convoluted. That subplot was very convoluted to me.
Yeah. It's a little much because it doesn't, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here, but it doesn't feel like it ties in with what Lee and Park are trying to do. Sure, they're trying to stop like these thefts, but I mean that it's not as big as, we're trying to stop a murder, or we're trying to stop, this type of thing from happening, or more importantly, the fact that Lee is going to die.
Right. They're teasing this throughout the whole show. Is that
the entire show.
He is not living in 2015. He's gone missing. He's been framed for this terrible crime that he didn't commit. And nobody knows where he is, what became of him. He's not a cop anymore. And so as an audience member, I assume that he died under very mysterious circumstances. Probably somebody that we've seen throughout the show did it, is what I was thinking. And that's absolutely correct. Like, that's what happened.
That is.
Yeah. He poked around so much and was so tenacious and wouldn't let things go that he got killed because he was a pest to the people that were responsible for all of these crimes.
He was too good at his job.
Too good of a cop.
Too good of a cop.
Yes. I was really taken aback by the serial killer who targeted depressed women. There's something about that MO that I was like, but I listen to sad songs and I don't like grocery shopping, so I can see myself living in Seoul and like going to bodegas at like midnight and getting my groceries. Like, it was very much like, okay, it could be any like, it didn't matter how old they were, they just had to be depressed. Depressed. I mean, I was like, but what? Like, it was very too much for me.
But depression is not really something, for the most part, that is outward appearance based.
Right.
So for you to like make that your MO, like, I'm gonna target depressed women.
He had this whole abuse issue with his mom who was like, I'll help you not feel upset anymore, and would stuff him in a bag. So like, that made him a serial killer, like whatever the fuck.
Well, of course.
But to me, the thing that didn't quite sit with me was that he was saying, oh, I'll help you, I'll get you through this, essentially saying like, I'll take the pain away by killing you, like I'll just make it stop.
Yeah.
Which depressed people don't usually commit suicide. It's like when they get on antidepressants that they get more energy, then they commit suicide because they're like, okay, I have more energy to commit suicide. And this is from the Psych 101 class that I took in like 2009. So,
oof. 12 years ago.
Yeah. But anyway, that's my understanding of depression. That usually when you're in the throes of depression, you don't usually commit suicide. It's when you're feeling a little better that you do. But so that didn't quite sit with me for that serial killer. The gang rape case.
Oh, yeah.
That was very maddening to me. That was probably the most maddening one. Because
why?
Because the guy essentially got away.
Yeah.
And they weren't really able to have him like, and all the kids like in the gang rape case get what they deserve. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean.
Even when they start like messing around with it and poking it from the past and the present, it like didn't resolve in a very satisfactory way for me.
But that's the thing. Like some of these cases,
and that's the thing about what they're trying to do. They're like banging their head against the wall, and the wall is the systemic. Like, okay, well, the kid that was the ringleader. System. Right, the kid that was the ringleader was the nephew of a congressman. The congressman made the whole thing go away because he was up for re-election, couldn't afford to have his nephew be a gang rapist. So,
no, of course not.
Of course not. So it was this whole thing, and he essentially got away with it. I mean, they knew that he did it.
They knew that he did it.
The
and
victim and the
there was
present
nothing they
was
could
like,
do.
I'm sorry that your brother was framed for, and that I had a hand in it. I was young. I couldn't like defend myself, essentially. They told me that my dad was a drunk and he was pressuring me to say all this stuff. And when they were like, okay, we'll make it right now. Like, even though the statute of limitations has expired, make a true statement. And she was like, no, I can't. Because back then I was slut shamed so heavily that I can't stand to have that happen again. I have a husband. I have a daughter now. Like, I can't.
Right.
I can't endanger my reputation now that I've essentially overcome it.
Yeah.
And that was really powerful to me.
Well, okay. So now that you're speaking about that, that kind of feels like, okay, this is an example of something that's happening in real life with a football player currently.
Oh.
And if you're listening to this now, this could be old news at this point, but there is a football player who is being accused of doing sexually inappropriate things at like massage and basically massage therapists who he would hire. And so many different women have come up to, to state that they have, been sexually assaulted by him, or some sexual advancements that were not warranted
Right.
while he was hiring them to, physical therapy, massage work, all that. So the thing is that the state that he's in and the lawyers that he has want to make this a non-confidential case. So that is actually frightening a lot of the women because they have to put their name, and not because they don't want to, but because they know the repercussions of messing with someone with so much power, with so much influence.
It's the same exact thing as the show.
Exactly. So
And the
that's
fact
the
that they were
example I wanted
talking
to bring.
about this in 2016, covering this in 2016, I was just like, oh my God. It's
And it's
very
still
ahead of
going
its
on
time.
now.
Still going on now. Still
Yeah.
a problem now where you're victim shaming.
Yeah. And women have such a hard time already just
Yes.
coming out with the fact that they've been assaulted in some way, or they, like you said, they get slut shamed, they get persecuted. People dig into their past, like, oh, well, look at what this person did, and that makes it all right to, basically what happened to them.
Discount their
Discount their
story.
grief, their suffering, because, oh, but look at what she did here. And, you can use that same example for other types of things that happen, where people will dig into another person's past and try to justify, well, if they wouldn't have done this, then, maybe it wouldn't have happened. Or, so yeah, it sucks to see such a real life example in the
Right.
show.
Especially because you want justice for the character Park Young. You're like, his freaking brother died.
Yeah.
And he was 110% innocent.
Exactly. And he had evidence.
Yes, he was in the process of getting evidence. There was evidence to submit for his innocence, and it still didn't pan out. So
And it still didn't pan
the
out.
witness
And-
knows what's the truth, and she still won't come forward. And it's because
Still
of
won't come
this
forward.
system, this
Yeah.
belief around that. And I'm sure that, here in the States, we're so vocal about it. We're more vocal about mental health. We're more, we're talking about victim shaming now. It's got a name now.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that in Korea, it's a little different.
I can imagine that it is.
And
yes.
that the populace is way more conservative and is generally unwilling to, think differently.
Exactly.
Yes. So it was really frustrating. That case was so frustrating. It was basically from episode 13 onward, and it basically
Pretty much.
on the verge of tears or wanting to basically rip someone's heart out. There was no in between. I was just either raging or so unbelievably sad at what was going on.
Yeah, it was very, very tough because of the fact that innocent people died,
Yeah.
and they couldn't nail them down.
No.
They couldn't.
Yeah.
And we do get at least a slight bit of catharsis in this sense where Lee goes to the family and is like, look, I'm sorry that your son died. And there's nothing that I can actually do. I tried everything that I could, and I couldn't stop what happened, and I couldn't, get him. But I have the evidence here. Like, this is all I have, but it's not enough, and I apologize for that.
Yeah. So switching gears, we haven't talked too much about Cha So-hyun, which is
no, we haven't.
the sonbae for Park Hae-young. Sonbae just meaning
Love interest.
no. Sonbae does not mean love interest. It means senior. So anyone
That's why
who
she
is-
kept calling him senior.
Right. So she called Lee Je-Hoon in the past sonbae because he was basically her superior. He'd been there longer, he had seniority, and it's all about hierarchy in Korea. It really is, even their language. And so in the present day, Park Hae-young is calling her sonbae because she's the commander or whatever of their little cold case group. So I like how they give a lot of juxtaposition for her because her past self is very shy, very much falling into gender norms, is relegated to a lot of the grunt work and giving out coffee and stuff. And Lee Je-Hoon is constantly like, you're a detective. Stop doing that stuff. Everyone can get their own coffee. Like, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do all of these like feminine duties that everyone else is responsible for. Were you not here? So I love that he's like really just single-handedly trying to bring down the patriarchy because she is so I don't want to say shy again, but she's not as fierce and commanding as she is in the present day, and so fearless. Even in episode 4, Park Hae-young is like, you shouldn't have confronted a man alone, because she gets assaulted when she goes to visit a criminal, and she says, I should quit my job if that mattered to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, bitch, like, get it. There is a weird connection between Park Hae-young and Cha So-hyun because I for a second thought that they were going to do a love line between them, and I was like, ooh, it's going to be a Nuna romance. Nuna meaning older woman, younger man.
Right.
But they didn't. There was like some little bit of questionable dialogue, like he gets really close to her face and is like, a woman's neck shouldn't look like this because she got assaulted again and she's got like marks on her neck and stuff. And I thought, oh God, if they do this Nuna romance, I don't know how I'm going to feel because she's so in love with Lee Je-Hoon in the past.
Yeah, in the past. So
she's still hung up over him, looking for his body. Like,
I really don't think they could have done it. I really don't.
Have. I think it would have diminished the show if they had
would
tried.
have. Because of the fact that then all of a sudden the show gets away from them in terms of now it's no longer about the cases. Mm-hmm. Now it's about the weird love triangle that there is, where there is the Cha, who is the connecting tissue between the past and present, and she is balancing between the feelings of one man and another. And I think that would have been harmful for the show.
I think so too. So they didn't go that route, thankfully.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. It was really maddening how little evidence and how little photograph there was, proper documentation when they opened up these cold cases. It was like, did they even try in the past? Like,
no.
It was like, no, nothing.
This was an indictment on police.
Yes.
In a way. Because they, I believe it's the, what is the, like, the head guy of the police? What was his name? I'm
was
trying
it
to
the
remember.
middleman or the guy who was the big bad essentially at the end?
Pretty much who was the big bad, essentially.
Okay. I'll get his name.
Yeah, you'll get it. But basically, he worked with Lee Je-Hoon back in the past, and he rose up the ranks and became
so this
like the
character's name
commissioner.
was Kim Bum-soo.
There we go. That's who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And he references it early on, like in the first couple of episodes, that, this is an embarrassment bringing up this cold case team because it is going to be an embarrassment on the police department for things that we couldn't do back in the day, and
So I
show
don't
our
think
incompetence.
I don't think that we have this concept here in the US where if a crime does not get solved, we're not like, wow, the police are so incompetent. They couldn't find the criminal. We're not blaming the police for not catching a serial killer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In Korea, it seemed like they do. They were
Yeah.
like, wow.
That is your job.
That's all you have to do. Like that is, you have one job and you didn't do it. And it is like you said, the whole show is basically an indictment of the police department, but especially within the show itself, the cops don't want to look bad. Just like how Disney will never redo the Star Wars trilogy because it would make them look bad.
It would make them look bad.
They would have to admit that they did something wrong.
Exactly. And if you're in their shoes, you would never want to admit that you did something wrong, especially when your job is to take the quote to protect and serve. So
Right.
to admit that you're doing something wrong would mean that you're incompetent at your job, or there's a breakdown in the actual system of the police force. The fact that, like you said, like the evidence sucks. Like what they were going off of was
They were like,
almost
find
nothing.
the detective that worked on it and see what he says now, like what he remembers. And I'm like, what?
30 years ago?
Yeah.
Good Lord. Good luck.
Yeah.
Believe me. So yeah, I did appreciate that this was like a commentary on police work and doing your
But
due
at the
diligence.
same time,
but
the main three are amazing.
yes,
That's the cop that you want on your case.
they're the examples of what you want in a cop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Never give up, detail oriented, will stop at nothing to make sure that the case is actually solved. So
They have compassion
kudos
for the
on them.
victims and the families and everything, and they're not condescending toward witnesses and other people. So it is that juxtaposition is huge in the show.
Right. I wanted to ask you, because I have some thoughts on maybe one or two characters, but what were your thoughts on the acting between the characters?
Good. I mean, I think that if someone came at this show and was like raw, never seen a K-drama, and then they come in, they'll be like, wow, everyone is talking kind of too intensely is maybe the word for it. They're just like, he said no, and like very like poignant pauses and things like that. But
I know what you
it's
mean.
par for the course for a
Yeah,
K-drama.
You
and
could say
for
the
this
same
type of
thing.
K-drama.
Yeah, you could say the same thing about even American shows. Like if you look at those police procedurals, maybe not your like main star of the show, but like the supporting characters, there's always like people that are acting a little too much, like I'm the badass cop, so I'm always going to be, in your face, like that. So I don't fault it there, but I will say this, speaking of side characters, there was someone on the cold case team. He was kind of like the lazy cop who you could tell he
could
didn't
find
really want to
anybody.
do.
His specialty was digging up people, finding where they are, like locating people, finding
Exactly.
their trail and all that stuff.
I think
Yes.
I found him a tad bit grating at times because like he was definitely an impediment to them at times because of how incompetent he seemed, and also like he would just be like really annoying. Oh, do we have to all this type of stuff. So as a character, that was annoying. Maybe not the acting. If that's the way they were going, it works. It's just that the character was annoying.
So I'm going to pause you there because that man, his name is Kim Won-hye. He is very well known. I've seen him in so many dramas. He's all over TV and all over movies. He's basically like a that guy of K-drama. One of,
There we go.
There's many, but this one is definitely a that guy of K-drama. He's in so many. He's in Tomorrow with You as a cameo, which is, the other show that I was talking about. He's in Hwarang. He's Modern Farmer, Reply 1994, Strong Woman Do Bong-soon, which is, I think, a really big role for him. He plays basically a very flamboyant I think he may be gay in that show. And so I feel like he's almost like a Gary Oldman type where he can just do anything.
Like older Oldman, or I'm sorry, in the past Oldman is what I'm trying to say. Not older, but like back in the day. Where he could be like a chameleon almost. Like he can like...
He's a chameleon. I've seen him do so much and I'm like, wow, what can't he do? So I didn't have any issues with him in Signal.
Fair enough.
I think maybe they could have given him more to do in Signal.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. No problem. So outside of them, I think acting wise, everybody brought their A game. I thought it was very good throughout. I already talked about how I felt about the chemistry between our leads. I think that they made the smart choice in not having a romantic link between Park and Cho. I'm glad that they didn't do that because it was not necessary. I do enjoy Lee in the past. Again, I already spoke about the fact that I didn't buy the love interest the way they were setting it up between Lee and Cho.
It wasn't a full-blown love.
No, it wasn't a full-blown love.
It was a one-sided love. And he was basically on the verge of catching feelings for her. And understood, finally, because he's so thick-headed, understood that she had feelings for him. And they might have had a future together had he not disappeared. Or been murdered, more like. So I like that it was like unresolved. You know what I'm saying? It was like a loose end as far as their relationship goes.
Yeah, exactly.
So I appreciated that. It wasn't like, oh my God, they missed out on all these years together. They would have gotten married. It's like, no, maybe, I don't know if they would have gotten married.
Maybe not.
It was definitely something that I believe she would have definitely held on to. You know what I'm saying? It was such a, like, there was no closure between them.
Right.
100% no closure.
No closure because he disappears.
Yeah. She doesn't know what happens to him.
I think this is a good time to talk about the end then of this show.
Let's talk about the end. So
break it down, lead us into it.
So the case that they're working on is the case where Park Hae-young's brother dies. So that gang rape case turns into basically is a thorn in all of their sides. And Lee Je-Hoon does end up working on the case when everyone else stops. He doesn't give up. And he sends the red scarf that he manages to get a hold of to the U.S. to get analyzed. Because even the forensic service in Korea is corrupted. Yeah, there was no way that he was ever going to get anything back and it was going to be clean. It was just always a losing battle in Korea. So he manages to get evidence of the corruption of the commander and the chaebol son who did actually started the gang rape. And it ends up being that his brother, Park Hae-young's brother, is murdered. And it all comes to a head when Lee Je-Hoon figures out who is involved. The evidence is very clear, and he gets murdered for it by the police.
Yeah.
Yeah. An Chi-soo, which is basically the middleman, like the commander who has like a very big attitude.
Yes.
with everybody.
Very big attitude with everyone.
Yes. And Kim Bum-ju, they team up and they kill him. Except I like how the transmission, all that changed between the initial transmission of him saying, don't go to Sonil Hospital. It ends up being that Cha does it. Cha Suk-hyun gives that same, she's like, please don't go to Sonil Hospital. And it changes the entire future because of who said the message.
Right, exactly.
And yes, and then Lee Je-Hoon basically made better preparations and had his Inju team ambush the perps so he lives instead. which is great. Because the whole show we thought he was going to die. Park Hae-young's family is completely reunited and made whole, except for his brother, who indeed was murdered.
Right.
And I like that they used the red scarf. The red scarf to me was very symbolic. In Asian culture, there's this mythology surrounding like the red string of fate. And so the red scarf to me represented red string of fate. Even though usually it's done in a context of like romance.
Okay.
But in this case, I was like, oh, I feel like the red scarf is having to do with the fate of all of these characters, and this family, the Park family, has to do with this evidence, this incredibly incriminating evidence that like would get everyone all at once. Yeah, it was good. At the end of the day, Lee Je-Hoon lives into the present day, 2015, and they go try and find him in this like seaside town.
Yeah.
And they get this message not to go see him. Like somebody sends a text to them and it says like, don't go here. And it's the name of the hospital or whatever. And they're like, okay, it could be a trap or it could be legit. Like, do not go. Just like how we said, don't go to Sonil Hospital. We told Lee Je-Hoon not to go here and we meant it. They go anyway, and it is like a bit of a ... at the end, because they figure if we do not have, in the course of this whole future, our whole future changing, and we don't have the walkie-talkie anymore, then maybe somebody else has the walkie-talkie in the future or in the past. And this whole thing could be still going. Like, we could still be on the move trying to change something. And so they're like, it could be, we get there and there's more.
Yeah.
And their whole thing, like the voiceover is basically saying, don't give up. It will work out eventually if you don't give up. If you don't give up, there's hope.
So all of this is being played as a voiceover as they're going to the last note that was left by Lee. Mm-hmm. Apparently, they know exactly where he could be. Or possibly will be. Yeah. And the show does actually show him in that place. Yeah. He's there. And even just before that moment, we get the whole reveal of, you know, they were able to expose this company for the corruption that they did with that floppy disk with the information.
Yes.
They were able to use it and expose the company for that. And the big boss from that company, or the congressman, whatever he is, from that company is like, find this man, you know?
Right.
Here's the thing. The show clearly sets up, this felt like the end of a season of an American show where they are teasing you of what direction the show is going to go in season 2. It clearly felt that way.
Because the congressman is... they showed him a couple times, super menacing. You can tell that he is the root of a lot of the issues within the police department and in all of these crimes that somehow lead back to his family or him.
Right, exactly. So the fact that it kind of feels like they set up the big bad for a second season and then
see what you're saying
doesn't go anywhere. And plus we don't get the resolution of what happens at the hospital, because we do show the cars pull up and it looks like something bad's going to happen, but we don't get the payoff of seeing what happened also, which is again another tease type of thing that American shows will do. They'll leave you with that moment of, oh shit, things are about to get really bad, and come back next season to see what happens. So yeah,
so I don't feel like it's necessary. And when I was watching it, I was like, no, I want to see what happens. Like, tell me. I think it's supposed to end like with a definitive ending. Like, they get reunited. Cha So-hyun and Lee Je-Hoon like end up together. Park Hae-young like meets this man who they've had this huge history together and saved lives and changed the future. And you know, you never see them meet and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, there's a lot of shows, a lot of K-dramas that do this thing where they're like, ... It could be this. It feels optimistic or it feels pessimistic, but there's no clear resolution. Even Parasite is like that. The movie Parasite from Bong Joon-ho is very similar, where you're like, okay, but did they actually meet the dad? Like, did it happen for them? This is the same thing. Like, did they actually meet Lee Je-Hoon? Was it resolved? Did they have to keep going? Was this like more fantastical stuff dealing with the time, the connection between the past and the future? Is it still there? Exactly. Or was it broken because now nobody has the second walkie-talkie?
Nobody has the second walkie-talkie.
It's unclear. I think you're supposed to just come to your own conclusions as an audience member. And for me, it's fine the way it is. It's not the best, but it's fine.
No. And that to me is the issue for me. I have two issues that mainly concern with the show. Number one, the ending, because we don't get a absolutely definitive ending. We get like hopeful ending. Like, we can imagine what's going to happen.
If you keep going,
right? If
you don't give up, there's hope. That's all you need. It's very, they gave you a platitude almost.
Yes.
It's like, here's your lesson. Keep going. Don't give up. Cases go cold when you give up, when someone gives up.
Right.
So in your own life, don't give up. It's very like.
And then number two, I still cannot get used to the run times of these episodes.
This was a little, okay, the episodes were a little long.
They were over an hour. Clearly over an hour, especially towards the back half of the season.
Yes.
We're like doing 110, 115, an hour 15. Like, we're doing stuff. And it kind of, you feel it.
I felt it at the hour mark. Like, for me, once it hits an hour, I'm like, okay, I've been here a really long time. Like, how much is left? And I'll pause it and it'll be like 10, 15 minutes left. So for me, the hour mark is when I'm like starting to feel the exhaustion of an episode. But for you, I think last episode when we were talking about Descendants of the Sun, you were like, at 45 minutes, I'm looking at my watch. Like, when is this going to end?
The thing is that I'm so used to the way American television is and on streaming services, because if you watch a regular 1 hour, I put that in quotes, 1 hour show here in America, there are about 15 to 16 minutes of ads throughout the show. So it breaks it up to, in reality, the show is 44 minutes long, each episode. So when you're giving me a show that is half an hour longer on top of that with no ads or anything, I mean, it's good, but at the same time, it starts feeling like a lot to get through in that amount of time. So that would be my only concern and my issue with it. That's all. Mm-hmm. So,
fuck Subway, because Subway also featured heavily in this show. I don't understand.
Yeah, it did.
That product placement is horrendous. I will call out Subway in every show that they decide to throw money at and they feature Subway. Like, Park Hae-young goes to Cha Soo-hyun's house and she's like making him do like all of these chores around the house. And then as a reward, she gives him a Subway sandwich, feeds him this Subway sandwich. And I'm like, no, baby, no. Get it away. Ugh. It's very frustrating to me.
It is. That
Subway is so
pretty frustrating. I think the show Chuck had an entire thing where like there was a Subway in their like headquarters or something like that. And so they made fun of it throughout the show.
Oh, that's better. That's better.
But like it's clearly visible, like giant like Subway, but they're like making fun of it. I love when a show, it sucks the product placement sometimes because it's so over the top.
Yes.
But I love when a show gets a chance to make fun of it pretty much.
Right.
Like one of my favorite ones is the show 30 Rock with Tina Fey. So they're talking about Verizon, right? And so, they're talking about it. It's like, well, it could be possible that Verizon buys NBC. Oh, Verizon, the ones with the great phones and the contract, whatever. Yeah, and they have 4G network. This was old. 4G network all across the country. You can't really lose signal anywhere
Stop.
you go. And then Tina's like, yeah, Verizon's great. Looks dead at camera. Can we have our money now, please? It is so great how they
That's how
just
I
play
feel.
with it.
Is that it? Yeah.
Basically, that's how it feels, but without that part at the end of
without the wing to the camera.
without the wing to the camera. So, yeah. So those are my only complaints about the show. I really enjoy the show. I think you had one more question for me, which was the OST, the original soundtrack.
I liked it.
I liked it too.
That was a very good soundtrack.
Yeah, I love
The
because they
score.
have a couple of different motifs. So
Yeah.
like if there's a chase or some action, like there's one motif, but I really like the motif when, there's like some kind of melancholy moment happening.
Yes.
it-
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaking and it's really well done and it really engages you in the moment as well. So
100%.
I thought it was very good. So yeah, this is a really good show.
Yeah.
Very good. So I got to give it props.
Nice. I'm so excited that you liked it. This is a good one. Really
Yes.
good one.
Yes,
it even
it
had your
was.
boy, Batman, from 1989. He was, they blurred it out because
They
copyright
blurt it
infringement.
out every time because of copyright. Oh my
But
God. George
it,
Clooney Batman.
Stop.
That was George Clooney Batman.
It was George Clooney, not even. Okay, wow.
Yeah, it was Batman and Robin, nipples on the bat suit Batman.
Oh,
Yeah. It was,
all right.
I could
Well,
tell.
on that note, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No.
Or anything that you didn't understand about the show at all?
Luckily for this one, it felt more along the lines of what I'm used to seeing, like an American style show, like
Right.
a procedural and everything. So
Okay.
nothing really lost me here in terms
Okay.
of. So the other shows I've had issues maybe understanding the mechanics between, different class systems in. Between characters or just understanding how things operate, but not in this one. This one felt kind of the most straightforward
This one,
with Western sensibilities.
yes, there was a couple moments where I was like, "Oh, okay, that might fly over someone's head," but they almost explained it with context clues. So,
Yeah.
like, another team shows up to the cold case crime scene,
Yes.
and they're talking down to the cold case team.
Yeah.
And the guy that you didn't like. And that's very disrespectful to do that. And so they're like, well, you're ranked lower than me, so I can do that.
Right.
And our boy says, okay, well, I'm a lieutenant. So are you going to talk to me like that and like calls them on their shit?
Yes.
Because they do have to show respect to him and talk in a more respectful way,
Yes.
So I
it,
like that.
it kind of reminds me of when in like an American police show, there's a certain team working on a case, and then like, no, we're bringing in the detectives, and
It's
like
exactly
they take
what it is.
over, you know,
Yes.
and they always talk down to them like, hey, we got it from here, like
Right.
that type of thing. So,
But in the Korean show, in this show, it was done with grammar as well, like
Yes.
the impoliteness of
the
it.
impoliteness of it, got it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
It was
pretty good
good.
show overall.
She makes chocolate for him at one point.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So the chocolate thing, I'll explain it really fast.
Okay.
So Valentine's Day in Korea is basically a lot of women giving chocolate to their significant others and crushes and confessing their love
Okay.
for their lover or person that they
So
have a
the
crush on.
women are given the chocolate.
Women are giving chocolate, exactly, like Sadie Hawkins a little bit.
Okay.
And actually, Boys Over Flowers, Jandi does this as well. She makes him sweets. Jumpyu. Do you remember that part?
Yes.
It like looks like him, like she made it look like him. and
Yeah, she made it look
But
like
anyway, that's the tradition over there. But there is a basically the true Valentine's Day, which is like White Day,
it. Okay.
and that's when it's reversed.
Oh,
Not that they
okay.
just make
Oh,
chocolate.
no,
like-
no, no. I've seen, I think my brother showed me something like this, White Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
basically Valentine's Day, where the males take more initiative and they do their thing.
Okay, got it. Okay. Makes sense.
All there is to it. Yep. Yeah, this was a very straightforward show as far as like cultural touch points and stuff.
Right.
But,
Gotcha.
Anyway.
Makes complete sense to me.
It's a good one. We got more coming, guys. We have a full schedule. We have to start watching the next show on our list. So I think that's it. You got anything else, Rico?
No, that is all. If you really enjoyed the show, make sure to let us know on social media, on Twitter and Instagram at ATC Daebak Pod. So once again, that's at ATC Daebak Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Let us know if you enjoyed the show, if you had any quibbles with it, or if you enjoyed it as much as we did. We would love to hear from you.
Yes. And please give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and anywhere you can rate and subscribe, because that helps us out and other people who are listening to us because they love K-dramas. Anyway, thank you so much for listening and for stopping by. I'm Jessica, and this has been the Daebak K-Rambles Podcast.